bizarre circumstances under which he was made to witness signing of documents selling off the Ghana National Petroleum Corporation's drill ship in 2001 as a witness.
Circumstances of my witnessing this were a little bit bizarre.
Will you tell the commission what the situation was?
I was out of the office when I received a phone call from my office that the Attorney General has sent a message that I should go to a London address and meet Honorable K.T. Hammond and witness a sales agreement that he was concluding.
Ambassador Kojo told the Judgment Debt Commission on Wednesday he never had the opportunity to read through the document. He said the transaction was ongoing when he had a call from the then Attorney General to go and witness the deal. He said he was out of his office at the time he had the call and therefore delegated one of the staff at the commission to represent him, but the official was not allowed to participate in the process.
Circumstances of my witnessing this were a little bit bizarre.
Will you tell the commission what the situation was?
I was out of the office when I received a phone call from my office that the Attorney General has sent a message that I should go to a London address and meet Honorable K.T. Hammond and witness a sales agreement that he was concluding. I wasn't immediately available. I had asked one of my officers to proceed to the address and to witness the transaction. When he got there, he was refused participation, and that they wanted me personally to be there to witness the signature. So when I finished with my assignment, I joined them. When I went over there, they were already set to sign, and all I had to do was to witness the signature of Honorable K.T. Hammond. The details of the agreement were not made available to me, so I did not peruse what I witnessed the signature of K.T. Hammond.
All that you did was to witness the signature of Honorable K.T. Hammond. You say you were not privy to what?
I said the content of the agreement.
Ambassador Kojo also confirmed that he was handed a Barclays banker's draft of $3.5 million by former Deputy Energy Minister K.T. Hammond. Ambassador Kojo also denied knowledge the money was used to pay salaries for employees of the High Commission in the United Kingdom. This is our big story.
Will you tell the commission under what circumstance this bank draft was handed over to you?
Your Lord, Honorable K.T. Hammond handed over the Barclays Bank PLC draft numbered 01953-801, payable to the government of Ghana by the order of Constant and Constant Solicitors, and dated 18th July 2001 to me at the High Commission in London. Honorable K.T. Hammond informed me that the amount expressed on the bank draft was part of the proceeds from the sale of the drill ship and which was due to the government of Ghana. I was therefore to hold on to the bank draft pending further instructions from the Honorable Minister of Finance.
Before you proceed, did that instruction from the Minister of Finance ever get to you?
Well, it was a telephone instruction.
And what was the nature of this instruction as far as this draft was concerned?
The draft should be paid into the Mission's Special Collections account.
And where is this account?
It's held at the Ghana International Bank, PLC, London.
So tell the Commission whether you complied with this instruction.
My Lord, I complied with the instruction. I first of all took the bank draft from Honorable Katie Hammond issued him a receipt and instructed the Treasury officer to take necessary steps to pay the draft into the account. When the draft was paid into the Ghana International Bank with a request to open an account for it, it was so done. We were served with notice that the account had been opened and the draft had been collected, and the account was credited with the $3.5 million less $51 being the bank charge.
So it will not be true to state that the said money was used as salaries for the employees of the High Commission in Britain.
My Lord, I'm not aware that any such disbursements was made.
Thanks so much for staying there on today's big story. And don't also forget that last week, former Energy Minister Albert Kandapa has maintained that $3.5 million was paid into government chest after the creditors and lawyers had been settled. Let's listen to that.
There was not one single wrong decision that was made in the whole exercise. There was no single wrong decision, not by anyone. And I stand by that. I think I should.
So if I give you power, go and deal with my property for me.
My Lord,
then you go on the strength of my power. You come, you don't report to me. You don't give me what was what you derive from what you did. You don't tell me anything. And you tell me it's right.
My Lord, you're going back into the laws. I'm not a lawyer. I say that.
Yes, that's why I'm saying that. If anything went wrong, by your evidence, if anything went wrong legally,
I wouldn't know.
Good, you wouldn't know.
As far as he was concerned, the outstanding 3.5.
And of course, we're getting somewhere with that particular issue, $3.5 million being agreed by the two that it was paid into a government chest. Now, a former Deputy Energy Minister, Katie Hammond, also handed over to the Judgment Debt Commission a stash of documents. Now, he says this will clear his name in that controversial sale of the drill ship belonging to the GNPC.
My Lord, I intend, by associating myself with my minister and the evidence I'm also going to adduce, to demonstrate that the sale was transparently done, was scrupulously done, and there's nothing untoward that happened.
I went to Parliament the other day. When I got in there, I had a document in my pigeonhole. Hand it over to His Lordship. My Lord, this document has every document, every indication, who wrote a letter, who deposited the account where, who did what, the drawings on this account, the whatever. A young man came here from Bank of Ghana and said that he doesn't know, they don't know about anything. They know it in this country. My Lord, it's all here. 65 pages.
Katie Hammond there at the Debt Commission. Now, when former GNPC boss took his stand at that same commission, he was surprised as to why the drill ship was sold at all.
I cannot see why, from any sort of national perspective, why it would be better, even if the government wants GNPC to do things differently. It's not clear to me why it is better for the minister or the deputy minister to be the one to be selling assets of the drill ship, such as the drill ship, which they know very little about, and they have very little understanding of how to get the best value. At the time that I left office in GNPC, that drill ship had clear value for the work of the corporation.
Now, let's try and make some legal implications of what Ambassador Chris Kojo told the Judgment Debt Commission, especially the fact that he was made to sign or witness some document under bizarre conditions or circumstances. Lawyer Maurice Ampao has just joined me online. Now, thanks so much for your time, lawyer.
Thank you very much. Greetings to your cherished viewers.
First of all, now, according to Ambassador Chris Kojo, he was made to sign some or made to witness the signing, perhaps, of a deal under bizarre circumstances. Legally, what does it mean? Is it binding?
Yes, to start with, it's unfortunate that he's describing his witness of the document as a bizarre circumstance. This is somebody who is telling the commission that the Attorney General did call, informing about a contract of sale, go there and witness. Now, when you go there and are witnessing, you have a duty to have a look at the document. Professionally, you must take a look at a document. A document that you are going to witness, you have to speak to those documents. You one day will call upon to testify on behalf of the state on the document. Now, if you fail to read the document, then you turn around to say that under what bizarre circumstances. In law, he has acted negligently, and he is bound not to say that those circumstances were bizarre, because nobody coerced him from not perusing the document. He has every right to say that before he paid his signature, he wants to know the content of the document, because he has to one day speak to those documents. He will be called upon to testify. So if he diligently fails to do so, he should not blame those who call him to be a witness. With the exception of a will, which is a confidential document, where a witness, when he signs a will, has no duty whatsoever to know the content of the will. This is a document which is not confidential. And if the Attorney General wants to keep it a secret, he will not invite you to go and witness. So nothing prevents you from saying that, let me have a look at the document that I'm going to append my signature as a witness, so that in the future, I can speak to that. Fail to do so, you are calling it as a bizarre circumstances. Therefore, it's professionally negligent on his part to say that he didn't know what he was signing.
What about the fact that he argued that an officer of the commission, he sent an officer of the commission and he was refused to witness that document?
You see, the Attorney General did respect your person. He wanted a higher authority, so he invited you personally. He is not expecting you to delegate to that authority, so that one day you say that you're not aware. So he wanted you in person. So that's why when you got there, you told the commission that you sent your subordinate, and they said no, they want you to be there in person. So to be frank, once you got there, you must seek permission to look at the document and even ask questions. Because as you sign to those documents, if there is something untoward, you must witness those untoward things in the document. So it is professionally negligent on his part to do that, and you should not blame anybody and say that it's bizarre circumstance. There's nothing bizarre circumstance about that. There was transparency. That is why he was called upon to come and witness. And this is not a will. It's not a confidential document. It is a document which is a public document, a contract of sale, and you, as a witness, must witness the document so that you can speak to the document and can testify to the document. That's why he has not been able to help the commission when it comes to the film, because it's not fitting to the contract. So it's unfortunate.
What do you say legally that the other persons involved in this whole issue had also done some misdoing by not allowing or not exposing whatever was in the document to Mr. Ambassador Chris Kojo before perhaps he appending his signature to the witness?
Look, this is a document, a contract document. It's a paper document. It's not an oral a contract. It's a document that was in existence. You have somebody signing as the principal. Now, after signing as a principal, you have to sign as a witness. It is your duty to read through. They cannot force you to read through. It is only when they are saying that you don't have the right to read through, then you also should say that then I will not sign, because I have to testify to this document. I have to give evidence one day. I'll be called upon to speak this document. So it is your duty to say that I want to read, I want to glance through, so that I can be able to speak to them in the future. So indirectly, he's not a witness at all. Because you sign a document that you're not privy to, you don't know how to speak to it.
Dr. Ampo, hold the line. Let me try and get some governance perspective from here. Mr. David Agbe is a governance expert. He's just joined me on the phone. And thanks so much for your time.
Thank you very much, sir.
Now, let's try and pick something from governance perspective. Now, in terms of document signing, in terms of pending signatures to documents, very, very important document, would you say that public officials have that responsibility to ensure that whatever they are signing perhaps will not land them in trouble tomorrow?
Precisely so. I mean, before you append your signature to any official document, you need to make sure that you understand everything in the document that you are signing. But let me, make this strong point that I share the views of the lawyer, and I'm quite, sad for former Ambassador Chris Kojo by saying that he signed the document under bizarre circumstances. That, give an indication that Honorable Chris Kojo did not do due diligence before signing, because Honorable Chris Kojo is a former ambassador. He is a trained international relations person, and therefore, if you are there to sign a contract on behalf of Ghana, you need to make sure that you understand the context of which you are signing the document, for. So for him to say that he signed it under bizarre circumstances, fine, that is his portion. But then the generality of Ghanaians will not, take his view that he signed it under duress? Was somebody standing, on him that if you don't sign this document, we are going to kill you today? For him to sign it under such a bizarre circumstances. Anyway, at the job circumstances, at the job place, your boss could instruct you to do something now. But then as a professional, you also need to make sure that whatever you are signing, you have read through and understand the do's and don'ts of the contract. If you don't do it so, later on, any situation that will arise, you could sign your own death warrant at a certain point in time. So for me, I disagree with the position by Honorable Chris Kojo. But internationally, what we need to do is that with regards to this bizarre, contract that we've signed under this drip and all that, you realize that certain procedures were not followed at all. The government officials do not follow, due diligence. They did not ensure that corporate governance principles worked. I mean, certain things were not done, professionally at all. You realize, how could one single person, go to sign such a huge, contract on behalf of Ghana? And let's also take it from this point of view. The former deputy Hammond, what does he know? He is a lawyer by profession, but he does not know international contract, agreement into totality. You need to get somebody who knows international law, who knows international treaties very well, understand, negotiation skills very well, know, intracultural practices that, go into signing a document. You are dealing with a French company. You realize that there could be a language barrier over there. He cannot flow in French. He does not know what goes into French, legal agreement and all those things. So for me, all the time we've been saying, oh, this is a professional lawyer, but everybody has his own professionality. What do you know best at any point in time? So our inability to assemble reputable people, professional people to sign or to read international contracts is bringing us into this situation. So I don't share the view of Honorable Chris Kojo on that score. I mean, you could be pressured to, but as a professional, you also need to, put down and make sure that you understand certain things clearly before you sign it.
I'll come back. Hold the line for me, Mr. Agbi. Hold the line for me. Let me wrap up with lawyer Maurice Ampao. Now, quickly, lawyer, let's wrap up on this. Now, Ambassador Chris Kojo has said this to the commission. Legally, has this helped the commission in any way in attempt at unraveling where that 3.5 million cedis or dollars is at the moment?
At least a part of his evidence have been able to assist the commission. At least he has been able to testify that he did receive the $3.5 million and a form of baggage draft, and then he also was able to tell the commission that he paid this money. He supported all these payments by documentary evidence. So at least he has been able to confirm to the commission that the 3.5 million can be found at the International Bank and receipts are there. But how they were disbursed is the issue. I think he said he's not privy to how they were disbursed, so they must go further to find out how they were disbursed. But as to the nature of the contract, he cannot speak to them because he said he was not privy to it.
Thank you so much for speaking to me, lawyer Maurice Ampao there. Now, let me wrap up with David. Now, David, if you listen carefully to Ambassador Chris Kojo, it tells you, it gives you the picture of exactly the kind of relationship that exists between governments that are exiting and governments that are coming in, where you find the AG and then the Deputy Energy Minister on one hand and then acting Ambassador Chris Kojo on the other hand. This acrimony that seems to characterize transitions from one government to another, indeed, according to concerns, is quite dangerous to our growing democracy. Do you share this view?
I agree exactly with your position. That, I mean, politics is a passion, and politics is full of, emotions. And when certain things, when you are changing from one government to another, you realize that people's emotions are always, high, and therefore there are certain things that you realize that this person is a professional and you expect him to do certain things in a professional way. But because it is politics, it is all about power, people tend to, do certain things not in proper order. You could be pressured. In leadership, there are certain points in time that we have this, what we call contingency, the exigency of time, the situation that would demand a certain leadership and a certain attitude that you need to take. But this situation, you realize that man, Honorable Chris Kojo, could be pressured from the powers that be. But as a professional, at times you also need to make sure that do or die, you make sure that you do what is right so that in any point in time, when they question you, you will be able to answer it. But if you say that because of a certain power, you become powerless, and so you do everything in a excuse me to say, in a shabby way, one day, you could sign your own death warrant. So, generally, he could be pressured, but then he could have also exercised a high degree sense of maturity.
Thank you so much for speaking to me. David Agbi is a governance expert there. We're talking about Chris Kojo's testimony, the Judgment Day Commission, talking about the fact that he was made to sign or witness some document under some bizarre circumstances. And of course, that's how we're wrapping up the first part of the show. That means that the second segment, the interactive segment, is coming up in a moment. Stay right there. Lady Marianne is joining me. We'll have more to expect from here. Stay with us. We're coming back in a moment. Welcome back to today's big story. Time now to get interactive. Marian has joined me. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And what's trending today?
So many things are trending, but you know, because of what we do here, we set the agenda also. We're talking about illegal mining, galamsey. And you know, the minister says that, okay, I think he's had wind that some of the municipal assembly heads are involved in
illegal mining. Right.
And so therefore he's sending a word of caution to them to say, if we catch you that you are involved in this, we're going to report you to the presidency, and we're going to dismiss you. So we are asking, besides dismissal, what else should we do to them? Should we just dismiss them and let them go? Or we need to do something besides dismissal? That's what we're talking about.
Time to stay interactive then.
Of course.
Welcome, Marian.
You're welcome. My name is Marian Toure, and this is Joy News Interactive. Good evening and welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is JN Interactive within today's big story. And I'd like to announce all the social media tools that you need to get in touch with the show. After all, the show is nothing without your comment, your feedback. And so you will find us facebook.com/joynews-on-TV. Like our page and then comment on everything we put there. We will share it with the rest of the world. If you're on Twitter, it's twitter.com/joynews-on-TV. Our handle is @JoyNewsOnTV, and I tweet @MN2Rain. And if you're sending us a tweet, please use the hashtag JNInteractiveGH, so we'll be able to sort all your tweets out at once and take them all. The email to use will be joynewsim@multitvworld.com, and our WhatsApp number, as always, is 0260-518-801. And as always, JN Interactive is where tech meets news to set the agenda. So in our agenda setting role, we are talking about something that is also trending on social media. And the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Alhaji Nusef Hussaini, has warned metropolitan, municipal and district chief executives to stop getting involved in illegal mining to risk, or they could risk losing their jobs. According to him, the complicity of any MMDCE in galamsey, which is illegal mining, will be brought to the attention of the presidency for immediate action. And also, I mean, the ultimate will be dismissal. But we're asking so many questions here. What do you make of this? Should the industry be legalized? Should just, you know, throwing them out of office be just the end of it, or something else ought to be done? And as always, we catch you on the streets and we ask your feedback, your views on the topics that are trending. In our first video blog, we're asking, what do you make of this entire statement? Let's take our first video blog.
I think it's a bad idea for him to say that, because those mining people doing their jobs at the rural areas, they acquire the lands through the district assemblies. So if he is saying they should not involve, is he saying everybody should come to the central government to acquire the lands or what? So I'm totally disagreeing with him what he's talking about, because it's wrong to do that. The local people should do their job and then be taxed by the assembly to develop the area. If he's saying that, it's not right.
The government don't earn anything from it. And when you go behind the scene, you see that major people with high positional area is operating under the whole thing. The government has to go in with a task force so that they will put a stop to it. Because if a mining company should go in there to destroy these waters or rivers, they have to pay a penalty or do something for the community. But these illegal galamsey people will just go in and destroy the water. The community will not benefit from anything.
What the minister is saying is not good to me. That's my view, because I think the municipalities and those over there, they should be strengthened so that they will enforce laws over there. But to bypass them, say they should not involve in the checking those doing illegal mining and things of that sort. I thought it's not the best. It's not the best.
Welcome back. Always you've been sharing comments with us on Facebook. Start with Facebook and then try and see if some tweets have dropped and then take them also. So we are asking, what do you make of this? Besides the dismissal, what do you believe should be done to them? Should the industry be legalized? And so many of your comments have come through, but we'll go and take our last video blog for the day. And in our last video blog, we're asking you, besides dismissal, what else should be done to them?
Once they are getting licenses through the assembly, it means it's legalized. Yes, of course it's legalized. Yes. So the minister shouldn't say so. Once they are doing it, they acquire licenses to do it. If they don't have licenses, they should be arrested. Those doing this without licenses should be arrested. But once they get their licenses, they should continue doing their job.
I don't see it making sense. I don't see it that way. I don't see it that way because we have we have to put more structures, good structures down, rather than going to rivers and other things to I don't see, if we should illegalize it, then I will not know how Ghana will be in future.
The galamsey should not be legalized. No, they should streamline their operations so that at least government can get some money from them. Yes, they should at least license them so that they will check their operations. So that degrading the environment is at least is getting too much. They should check their operations so that government can at least get some money from them.
Welcome back. A lot of comments have dropped. Over 50 of you have spoken to us, and we are going to share it with the rest of the world. And so we are asking, what do you make of this statement? And besides dismissal, what should be done to them? And should the industry be legalized? A lot of you are saying it should not be. That's what we saw in our video blogs. But let's see what you guys are sending us on social media. Gilbert is sending this in from Bogatanga, says, a good call by the minister. In fact, the MMDCEs should live up to expectations and help the president in the fight against illegal mining in their various assemblies. They should encourage individuals and companies who wish to engage in mining to follow due process to acquire licenses from the Mineral Commission. As patriotic citizens, let's all put hands on deck to fight this canker in our various communities. Baba Musa Tamale, and I'm liking this. You know, these are like thesis. You have considered the topic properly and you're sending us feedback, very long feedback, but very, very important indeed. And I truly appreciate that. This is coming from Baba Musa Tamale. You're saying, as a natural resource student, I sincerely think that government has to be very hard and strict with MMDCEs who happen to condone with those destructing illegal mining activities. Anytime I see the activities of the illegal miners, my heart bleeds profusely, because apart from the destruction caused to the ecology of the environment, serious pollution of water resources also occurs during these activities. The most disturbing aspects of the water pollution which comes with the mining activities is that most of these rivers flow from one end to the other, thereby affecting aquatic species. Again, some of these polluted water bodies serve as the only source of drinking water for the nearby communities. The chemical lead, which is PB, that is, you know, you're putting all, you know, the formulas and the forms and everything here for us, which is often used by these illegal miners, are very dangerous to human life, which causes cancer and many related ailments. I am hoping that perhaps it will be a great idea to have students like you who are taking courses in natural resources to volunteer to go through all of these communities, mining communities, speak to people and let them sponsor you to go there and hold derbers and talk to them and tell them this is what happens. Show them pictures. And I'm thinking that perhaps if you bring it home to them, what their activities would lead to in the end, they might just stop. But you see, there's another side to this. This is how they eat. This is what brings them food. That's what gives them their daily bread. So if you're just talking about it, and you're not giving them another way to live, then you haven't done anything. Because after all, man must eat. They ought to eat to live. So if we are asking them not to engage in all of these, then we have to provide them with jobs, other jobs that wouldn't be, as deadly. So I guess I'm doing my bit here. You can also do your bit wherever you are. Let's fight this together. We'll take some more comments that are coming in. Abachi Frank says, the activities of these illegal miners in relation to our environment is very disheartening. All our virgin forests have been depleted and devoured by these selfish galamsey operators. Any public official or opinion leader caught by the web should be punished accordingly. It shouldn't be empty political threat or rhetoric. As for legalizing galamsey, I think it should not even come up for discussion, looking at the harm done to the pra and other water bodies. And Gilbert is sending this in from Bogatanga. They are not above the laws of the land, hence should be punished when they fall victims to it. I must say that even the ministry should be on the alert and deal ruthlessly with any illegal miner in any part of Ghana. Nash is just saying bravo, so bravo to the minister for even coming up with this in the first place. Yes, Haruna Tamale says, how many times have these threats and similar been made, which all fell on deaf ears? Even those of them at the ministries are complicit, you want to say, in these illegal mining. The law of the land must work. So it all comes down to enforcement, basically. We have the laws, but how do we enforce them? Who is enforcing them? The people at the end, the gatekeepers of all of these laws, ought to be up and doing, and so that it would work for all of us. As for laws, I'm sure Parliament can sit down and have one law a day. We would have 365 laws each year, but if we don't enforce them, they become worthless, and it behoves on all of us to do our bit to enforce them. Frimpong Holy John from Ifijirase, I think these galamsey activities cannot be stopped in Ghana, since it is clear that those who are involved in it do not have work to do for living aside that job. But 70% of people who indulge in galamsey are unemployed. It is incumbent on the part of government to either create more jobs or legalize the galamsey for those people to also get their daily bread. And that just echoes what I was emphasizing before. They need jobs. They need to eat. They can't engage in armed robbery. So that is the only resource they have at their disposal. How can they harness that resource to feed their families, to earn a daily living? And so if we are not ready to give them, something else to do, then perhaps we should just leave them be. But we can't also leave them be, because it is the natural resources that we are going to leave for future generations, my generation and yours. And so we should all, come together and do something for them. Bonaventure says they should rather be dismissed and prosecuted or made to pay a fine or something for their involvement. The galamsey people are really killing our land. Harry Afo, yes. It should be legalized so the government can benefit from them by collecting taxes, and that a place should be allocated to them so they stop destroying maiden lands. Perhaps we can, have a demarcation where we say this is illegal, land for galamsey or something like that, small scale mining. You can't encroach on this land, let's say 100 yards from X point to Y point. You cannot mine beyond that point, so that they can just mine from there. But you see, the land, the earth, it doesn't replenish itself. Once you have depleted it, I don't know where else you're going to find the land to put there. They're not like trees that you can plant and then it will grow once, you know, you have depleted them. Land is land. Once it's gone, it's gone. I don't know what else we can do to generate. We can't grow more sand in the laboratories. If we could, then that would be great. But this is the only Mother Earth that we have. Let's do our utmost to protect it. Isa says, this are the ministers that we are yearning for. My brother, fire them if they are trying to do so. Majid Awudu from Gushego, it is a good decision, Marian, but don't you think when strong men are at work, every crime is a mistake? Food for thought, I guess. God's will for it. I think it's the chiefs rather, but if they are involved, then they have to stop. Eric is sending this one from Zurangu. MMDCEs take bribes from galamsey, I think, yeah, from the galamseyers to buy motors and admissions for young ladies. The minister must follow up, on his call, because a vision without action is merely a dream, okay? God knows Billy, good directive, but if only he'll be bold enough to carry out such sanctions, they should also pay for the cost involved in correcting the land. Kobe, Maestro, these government appointees have no hand in the present illegal mining. The problem is on the part of our kings and queens who ignorantly lease our fields to these foreigners for a few dollars. So if they're doing that ignorantly, what can we also do to, educate them? Because I don't believe that ignorance should be an excuse anymore. We are in the 21st century. If ignorance was an excuse during the colonial era, we have progressed past that. Ignorance should not be an excuse anymore. So, but if it is, we can do our bit to educate them. I'm doing my bit here, and I'm sure the local radio stations and all the other media platforms can also do their bit to educate them and say, this is what the end will be if you don't stop what you're doing. But it all comes down to providing them with an alternative. So I think let's work on the alternatives. If we have better alternatives for them, I am sure they would stop what they're doing. Eddie is sending this in. Saeed is sending this in from Wa. He says, very good. This should not be a political gimmick, but implemented. Government should also go ahead to prosecute such persons. Eddie, it should be legalized. Maybe educating them about it. That's how they get their daily bread. Stopping it will bring different things such as stealing. Okay, Isahaku Abdul Aziz, he is backing but can't bite because he has no teeth to bite. Wahab Romeo, whatever, are we not tired of these government political gimmicks? So you think it's just a gimmick? Edubwa says, why now, Minister? Is this? It's supposed to come earlier than this. I'm sure that's what you're trying to say. Park says, it is clear that this government is really working for the people. This is not like of presidents who will set up I'm not getting it. Who will set up an unaccountability desk in his office as a secret corrective measure for corruptive government functionaries. Okay. Today you're throwing very big words, Park. Thank you. Nee says, I think it should be legalized because the government will gain a lot from it, like revenue. Umar says, yes, it should be, but the same ministers are involved. Abdullah Abdul Razak, it should not be legalized, and the call is in the right direction. Kweku says, it's the right thing to do, not to be selling drill ships. Isaac Abdulaziz, I will sack him before he sacks the people he cannot sack. I like that. Max Iram, I hear that dismissal alone is not enough. You should be made to pay for the destruction of the forest and water bodies. Some of our leaders in Ghana only think about their pockets alone, forgetting that they are causing a great damage to our future generations. God save us. Adam says, yes, I agree with the minister. Some of our DCEs love money more than the people. Franklin, foreigner, losing their job is not any solution to the problem. They should put them behind bars. And Sadat Yakubu, dismissal alone to me, is not enough. They should also be made to face the laws of the state so that it will deter others from involving in that act. Kweku Opare and Nobea, don't the MMDCEs know that they don't have to be compromised? And does it have to take the minister to warn them before? If there are some culprits, the minister should crack the whip. The minister should have added criminal action should be taken against those found. These are some of the talks that make people believe politicians treat theirs with kid glove. Minister come again. In fact, the news surrounding this administration is ugly. President Mahama, please do something about it. Godfred Babu, if MMCs and DCEs are involved in galamsey operations, then why do you waste our money doing adverts for the public to report all those who do galamsey business? After all, the Galamsey Task Force under the instruction of the DCEs and MCEs. And take my final comment. Bright is back so we can wrap up together. Daniel says, I think it's a nice move by the minister, but my fear is it is going to be another symbolic gesture, and government will not have the political will and commitment to prosecute his own people. This will be another fake and first-gear directive from a first-gear government. Alisa, you've made me laugh, but Bright is back, so we can wrap up together.
All right, so the 8 o'clock will tell you what is happening with Merchant Bank. Private Equity Fortis says it has completed the deal, and Merchant Bank is now owned by Private Equity Fund Fortis. Now it says that it is going ahead to execute its plan to build Merchant Bank into a formidable indigenous bank in the next 3 years. Now it says that they are in the process of forming a strong executive team to execute the vision of the shareholders.
And also to expect news at 8, debate on the 2014 budget in Parliament degenerated on the floor today as MPs called each other names and who was more corrupt. The free-for-all was sparked by the majority leader, Benjamin Kumbo's comments, which sought to equate the GNPC drillship saga to the Woyome, who is in championing an anti-corruption crusade by politicians mentioned that the Woyome and the oil drillship saga. He put everything together, and that actually sparked, fury on the floor of Parliament today.
And that's a statement of fact. Mr. Speaker, he is positing that in the context of the thievery, the stealing, the fundamental burglary of the country's coffers by Wyoming, which was facilitated by the Honorable KTM.
We'll tell you more about what happened on the floor there, parliamentarians giving it to each other there. At 8 o'clock, you'll hear more on that. But coming up is Joy News Exclusive. Thanks so much. My name is Bright Nanamfo.
My name is Marian Toure. We shall see you again soon.